So somebody actually asked me, does the infinite banking concept actually work? I'm like, duh. Yeah, it works. And it's worked for hundreds of years. So let me ask you a question. Do you want financial freedom? Because if you do, it's time to take a hold of your life and transform your finances. And one of my favorite ways to do this is through the infinite banking concept, because it's very simple and it works 100% of the time. Anything else in your life ever work 100% of the time? Probably not, but this does. My name's Chris Naugle, and I'm here to teach you how to be your own bank. But like I said earlier, the question I always get is, what is the infinite banking concept and does it even work? So let's dive into that. The first thing, what is the infinite banking concept? It's very simple. The infinite banking concept is a process that was pioneered by the late R. Nelson Nash. And all it is, it's you taking back the banking functions in your life. In other words, make that very simple. How does the infinite banking concept work? Well, it works just like a bank works. If you've gone to a bank or you've borrowed money from the bank, that's how it works. So let's break this down. There's two different examples. Number one, what you're doing today, which is you're taking the money that you have worked hard for and you're giving up control to somebody else's bank. And that bank is paying you an interest rate on that money, right? In the comments, tell me what your interest rate is that you earn on your checking or savings account. Is it 1%, 2%? Anyone getting 4? How about 6? Anyone getting 6? I'm laughing because none of you are probably even getting 1. But just in the comments, let me know. So they're paying you 1%. I'm going to be fair and just say that some bank out there has got to be paying you 1% right now. So they're paying you 1, but what do they do with that money? Do they put it in the vault in a little box with your name on it? I don't think so. That little glass cubicle that you saw when you walked into the bank that those people are in, you know what they're doing? They're lending your money out as well as everybody else's money out. And they're lending it out at a rate much higher than what they're paying you. And in the process, the bank is making a profit called a spread. If they pay you 1 and they lend it out at 5, they're making a 4% spread. Pretty cool, huh? Let's get back to what is the infinite banking concept. It is the process of you taking back that function right there. Why is it that you can't deposit money into your own bank? Oh, because you're thinking, oh, I don't have a bank. I don't want to build a... God, that would be a lot of work to get approved and dig the foundation and open the place. And I don't have the money to do that. No. We're just going to mimic what a bank does. We're going to change one thing. That's it. Just one thing. And that is where your money goes first. Instead of you putting your money and giving up control to the bank that we already know, the bank makes your money go to work and makes a spread doing it. So we're going to change where your money goes first. And it's going to go into your own bank. But you're probably thinking to yourself, what the heck? What's my bank? Is it some fictitious thing, some made up thing? Because that sounds too good to be true. Well, let's go one step further. What is your bank going to do? Well, let's think of the perfect investment. If there was the perfect place where you could put your money, what would be some of the things it would have? Let me tell you mine. It would have a guaranteed interest rate that far exceeds anything that I get at a traditional bank. Number 2, that money would be liquid and accessible for me anytime. A bank, when I walk into the bank, they actually have the audacity to ask me what I'm using my own money for. I go to the bank, the traditional bank, and I say, hey, can I have $10,000 as a withdrawal? Mr. Naugle, what are you going to use that for? None of your damn business. My money. I let you borrow it. But actually, that's not what happened. Matter of fact, I let the bank take control of my money. And because of that, they can ask me what I'm using it for. And they can make me fill out forms and all sorts of stuff. Some of you that have taken large withdrawals know what I'm talking about. But that makes me feel really uncomfortable. So my bank would not have any of that. My bank would let me use my money anytime I want without asking any questions. And the money would be in the account that I need it in a very short period of time. What else? Well, hey, if we're going to shoot for the moon, let's make it all tax-free. All the growth, that interest that my bank is going to pay me, why do I want to give it to the government? So yeah, let's make it tax-free. Hey, you know what? If something happened and I get sued, I don't want other people to be able to take the money in my bank. So let's make it protected against judgments and liens. Screw the moon. Let's shoot for Mars. I mean, if I'm creating the rules for my own bank, let's just say that someday when I graduate, because that's a certain, we all know we're going to pay taxes till the day we die and we're going to die, right? Those are the two certains, death and taxes. How about when I graduate and go on to heaven, how about my family gets way more money than what's in my account? To make my legacy even better, why don't they just get a bigger payout than what I have? Let's say double or triple or even quadruple what's in my bank, because that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? But that can't really be real. There's no way possible that that exists, because that just sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? But what if it wasn't? What if that thing, that place, your bank, actually existed? And what if it's not even new? What if it's been around for hundreds of years, used by the wealthiest families in history? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the JP Morgans, the Stanleys, my gosh, Walt Disney, Ray Kroc, Warren Buffett, JFK, Doris Christopher, and hey, let's throw in Joe Biden. Love or hate the dude. Anyway, they all use this. They all know of this awesome magic place that has every one of those really cool features. Now comes the hard part. You want to know what that is? It's specially designed and engineered whole life insurance policy. See, I got you. Whole life insurance policy from a mutually owned company that pays dividends. You bet your sweet ass that's what it is. And that's what it's always been. Except for the thing you know about whole life is what the public and the talking gurus want you to know. That it's the worst place you can put money. It's a super expensive life insurance policy. Why would anyone put money into that? And you know what? Dave Ramsey is somewhat correct in that. If you bought a whole life policy, remember I didn't say a specially designed and engineered whole life. If you just went and bought a whole life policy from your broke-ass brother-in-law who's barely making ends meet and needs you to buy one of those policies, you're right. It's expensive. It's probably a terrible place for you to put your money. Do you think that that's where all those wealthy families are putting their money, is with one of those whole life policies from their broke-ass brother-in-law? Nope. It's completely different. It's designed backwards and upside down. It's designed to function more like a bank than it is a life insurance policy, but it still is built on the chassis of a whole life insurance policy. So, all those features, guaranteed interest, tax-free, liquid and accessible when I want that money immediately, no questions asked when I want to take it out, heck, protected against judgments and liens in most states, and when I die, it pays a death benefit that is probably more than 2 times or even 3 times the amount in my bank. Yep. You know what all that is? It is that stupid, specially designed and engineered whole life. But the whole life isn't the most important part. That's just what we're going to put the money in, and then we're immediately going to take the money out, and we're going to practice doing what a bank does every day. So let's just go through some simple mathematics. Once you wrap your head around the infinite banking concept, it becomes very simple. The first change we made is we didn't put money in someone else's bank, we put it in our bank, that specially designed whole life. But now that's the first step. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly what a bank does. We're going to loan that money out and we're going to make a higher return. So where would we loan it to? Well, the world is yours. You can do anything. But how about the car payments that you're making every month? What's the interest rate on the car payment? 5, 6? Well, today, if you buy a car, it's like 6%. How about a credit card? You got credit cards that you pay every month? Yeah, they're probably like 20%, right? What if you want to get and do investments? I like private lending, and I lend money through the privatemoneyclub.com, but I make 12% there. So these are all places that I move money. And you know what I do? I take a loan from my policy and I put money in one of those places. And then what I do is whatever those places are, whatever the interest I earn or that I give away, I just pay it back to my policy. So let's just talk about how a bank made money. They paid you 1 and they charged 5 on a loan, right? So when you take a loan from your policy, the insurance company is going to give you part of your death benefit before you die. They're going to loan you your death benefit and they're going to charge you 4%. And how much money are you making on the money that you put into that policy? Well, by today's standards, 2022, depending on the company you go with, it's between 5.2 and 6%. So let's just use 6 for simple math. What is 6 minus 4? 2. Isn't that a spread? Isn't that a profit? That's right, it's a gross profit. Just like a bank, remember, they paid you 1 and they charged 5. They made a 4-point spread. You just made a 2-point spread. But the best part is your spread gets bigger every year. Why? Well, you'd have to understand what Albert Einstein called the 8th wonder of the world. Compound interest. He said, those that understand it, earn it. Just told you how to do that. And those that don't, pay it. Well, all the rest of you that have been putting money in the bank and borrowing money from the bank, guess what you're doing? You're paying it. So which side do you want to be on? You want to earn it or you want to pay it? I just laid it out. Stop paying it, start earning it by doing exactly what a bank does and performing the infinite banking concept. It is so simple. But one tip, if you're going to be successful in the infinite banking concept, never steal from your bank. You just did exactly what a bank did. But you know what a bank doesn't do? A bank doesn't allow its customers, its borrowers, to steal money. They don't let you just go in and waltz into the vault and take whatever amount you want. That would be called stealing. You'd go to jail and probably get shot before you walked out the door. But hey, we're not doing that. So when you have your own bank and you take loans from your bank, don't steal. Pay your bank back. It's all your own money, so it's kind of moot point. But you know what? Practice and do exactly what you do right now with somebody else's bank, but change it over to yours. Treat your money the same way you treat the traditional bank's money and be an honest banker. Those are the best tips I can give you to be successful doing this. I got one final little story I want to tell you. And I'm going to do this quick. I own businesses, and when you own businesses and you need things, one of the things you're going to need is a copy machine. You know, one of those big fancy copy machines, not the ones you buy at Best Buy, those big ones, you know, that you put the paper in and it spits it out. And, you know, you get those copy machine people that come into your business and they start trying to sell you this thing. It's the most boring thing in the world. Oh, it spits out this many pages per minute and you can scan this many and it even staples your papers. Oh, staples my papers together for me? As if the swing line stapler isn't needed anymore. I love that thing. But anyway, how do we normally do copy machines in our businesses? Well, I'll tell you the way I used to. You lease them. They come in, they wow you with this fancy piece of plastic that spits paper out with ink on it, and it staples it. And then they say, and this all can be yours for $171 a month. Yes, sign me up. It's called a lease. And then 3 years or 5 years after that lease is done, that suited up copy machine guy or gal waltzes in and says, hey, your lease is up, but I got good news. That one's obsolete now, and we got this new fancy machine that staples more paper and prints more faster. Awesome, dude. How much is it? Only $181 a month. Oh, great. It went up $10. And that's a lease, right? Perfect. Hit the brakes. Now, we've changed one thing, and we became the bank. We've started practicing the infinite banking concept. So why in the world would I ever pay $181 a month to somebody else's bank to lease a machine that I'm never going to own just so that I can have printed paper that is stapled together? What I did is I went to my bank and I said, hey, Mr. Bank, can I borrow $8,900 to buy this stupid piece of plastic that staples paper and prints this stuff on it? And my bank says, absolutely. When do you need the money? Now, money goes over, I pay for the copy machine. I take the $181 a month I used to pay to this stupid leasing company. You know what I do? I change the name on the check. Instead of saying copy lease company, I write in Chris Naugle's bank. And I then send that $181 back to my bank. And guess what happens? 5 years goes by, because that was what that lease was. 5 years goes by. Instead of having $8,900 in my bank, you know how much I have? If you did the math, about $11,000. That's right. I actually got paid to copy. That's right. But not only that, what else do I have? Well, after that period of time, I got a fully paid for copy machine, which the copy machine person waltzes in and says, hey, that machine's obsolete. I rinse and repeat the same process. Did that make sense to you? There was nothing different that I did. The $181 I would have given to somebody else just went back to my bank. The only difference in that equation is I had to save $8,900 in my bank in order to make that happen. I had to capitalize my bank. There isn't a bank in the world that can lend money if you don't deposit money. So people have to deposit money first, and then the bank can lend that money out. Your bank's no different. You have to capitalize it first. And then you have to be an honest banker. Don't ever steal the $181 that you don't have to pay back to your bank, because nobody's going to ask for it. Pay it back to your bank, because that's you being an honest banker. So if it works for copy machines and cars, what else is the infinite banking concept for? Well, it's called infinite for a reason. It works for everything. Planes, trains, automobiles, copy machines, vacations, taxes, paying debt off. I don't know. Whatever you can dream up, that's what the infinite banking concept will work for. The question I have for you is, why aren't you doing this? I bet you I know why. Because you're so hung up on that stupid product and that misconception, that lie that you've been taught your whole life, that whole life insurance is a terrible place to put your money. But we're not talking about a regular whole life. We're talking about a specially designed and engineered whole life. One that doesn't even look like the whole life that your brother-in-law tried selling you. This one functions completely different. The question I have for you is, are you willing to see how your life could be different if you just changed one thing? So folks, real quick, let's do a recap. The first thing I discussed is, what is the infinite banking concept? The second thing I explained is, how is the infinite banking concept going to work, and how can it work for you? The third thing, I gave you some tips to being successful with the infinite banking concept. Never steal from your bank and treat your money the same as you treat the traditional bank's money. I gave you an example of a copy machine and how I use it, just so you could see that full circle. The fourth thing I talked about is, what else can the infinite banking concept be used for? Well, use your imagination. What do you go to the bank and borrow money for, and what are you paying for today? All of them are what this can be used for. So if you liked this video, you're going to want to check that one out. How you can save 10% of the money you earn.